So many familiar faces now. I feel like I'm home.
Say Howard.
And October, everyone.
Right in front of the camera. Thank you.
Cantor Martin Bruner, this is Temple Beth El Salinas, if you're joining us on the internet. And this is Rabbi Debbie Israel, joining us here in Salinas for our second year of High Holidays together, and we're so glad to all be together.
L'Chaim Airlines announces boarding now for Flight 5784. Your luggage should contain only the best memories of 5783. Leave the bad or sad moments deposited in the nearest bins. The duration of this flight will be 12 months, so adjust your seatbelt comfortably. The next refueling will be shortly at the weighing of the scales of Yom Kippur. We'll be weighing kindness, wellness, peace, and humility. During the flight, we will offer you the following menu: a cocktail of abundant health, an appetizer of prosperity, a salad of success, and the main entree is a course of peace. For dessert, a cake of happiness. Upon starting your journey, allow yourself to thank the people who made your 5783 beautiful and your Captain God for lovingly directing your flight. We wish you a happy journey aboard Flight 5784. May it be that God, the great pilot of your journey, receives you with great love and pilots your flight safely. Now we begin our flight. Please turn to page 9 and rise for candlelighting.
And we invite our president of the congregation, Joe Chudy, to light our Yom Tov lights on page 9.
Source of blessings, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, teaching us holiness through sacred obligations, giving us the mitzvah of bringing light on Yom Kippur.
sealed in the book of life. Please join me responsively on page 14 as we enter the Seder Kol Nidre, the portion of our evening dedicated to the Kol Nidre. Yom Kippur, the Jewish people's festival of the soul, and Kol Nidre, its sacred portal, a night of deep emotions, a night, as the psalmist wrote, to rejoice with trembling.
We rejoice at the sound of Kol Nidre, rhythmic words of release from vows, oaths, and promises to God we fail to keep.
We tremble at the melody, music of spiritual amazement. It fills us with awe as we stand before God in Torah.
We rejoice that we stand together, strengthened by community in this hour of shared weakness and humility.
We tremble, for tonight we confess our flaws, admit our imperfection, and acknowledge a power far beyond our understanding.
We rejoice that we commit ourselves to great endeavors because we feel so deeply and think so nobly.
We tremble, for we find that our ideals are far greater than our ability, and promises surpass our might.
We rejoice in the freedom that is Kol Nidre's true gift, the freedom to begin a new year without fear of failure, to aspire to God's image in the world.
We tremble because we are mortal. We rejoice in our gratitude for life. And enter Kol Nidre to face our humanity. Page 16, Or Zebulun. We are now entering the Kol Nidre service. We soon rise as the Torah scrolls are removed from the ark. The honorees will remain beside the open ark as the Kol Nidre is recited, serving in the symbolic role of court witnesses to our pleas before the Beit Din, the legal court. Kol Nidre is neither a prayer nor a petition, but an early medieval formulaic legal proclamation in Aramaic that absolves Jews in advance from all vows made from one Yom Kippur to the next. These are vows that do not affect the interest of others, vows that might be made rashly, impulsively, unwittingly, or without consideration of all possible ramifications. Nor does Kol Nidre concern transgressions committed against human beings, for which only forgiveness by injured parties can provide atonement. I'll be talking more about Kol Nidre in my Devatur soon, but for now, we call our honorees to open the ark and hold the Torahs.
I call to open the ark, and our honorees this evening, Nathan Milan, and hold one of our Torahs, Rebecca Ganauer, who will hold our little Holocaust Torah, and Asher Sherwood also. Please rise.
Before the ark is open, let's turn to page 19 and read together as they come to the Bimah. The second paragraph, give us the strength to keep our promises. Join me.
Give
Sacred
us the
vows.
strength to keep our promises,
The sacred vows of partners in marriage, the promises of love and care between parents and children, the promises of duty between citizens and country, the oaths of doctors, the sacred trust of teachers. Give us the strength to keep our promises to our friends and colleagues, to those who live with us and depend on us, to those who work for us and those for whom we work, to those who pray with us and those for whom we pray, to those we love and those we serve. Give us the courage to keep our promises to ourselves, to one another, and to future generations. We now open in the ark. And you move the door. Page 18. All vows, resolves and commitments, vows of abstinence and terms of obligation, sworn promises and oaths of dedication, that we promise and swear to God and take upon ourselves from this day of atonement until the next day of atonement. May it find us well. We regret them, and for all of them we repent. Let all of them be discarded and forgiven, Page 20. All shall be forgiven, the entire community of Israel, and the stranger who lives in their midst, for all have gone astray in error. Moses prayed to God, as you have been faithful to this people ever since Egypt, please forgive their failings now in keeping with your boundless love. And God responded, Salachti kifarecha, I forgive as you have asked. Please remain standing after the Torahs have been returned. In many streams of thought, including my own, Yom Kippur is a day of celebration. We work on the assumption that God forgives us. We just read that. God says, I have forgiven you. So now we can speak openly. Now we can tell God the truth. And now we can tell ourselves the truth because we have already been forgiven. We have a year that's full of promise. We turn now to page 22. We're now at this beautiful gate of this new beginning, the doorway to the spiritual path of the Yom Kippur service. So we want you to know that you are welcome to enter. We first invite you, the cantor invite you, and then we respond, and then all of us respond, are welcome to enter the congregation of prayer. Page 22.
Baruch Hu, please join us.
You may be seated. There'll be a lot of coming up and sitting down during the next 25 hours of Yom Kippur. Please do what your body is comfortable doing. If you tire and you feel like you can't stand when I say to stand, sit. Nobody is judging here. You do what you need to do. I'm just the choreographer. Please join me on page 24, the English. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your great name fills the universe with majestic might. Your word creates twilight and dusk as your wisdom opens the gates of night. Your discernment separates the changing seasons and causes the passage of time. The stars arrayed across the sky reveal your design. You roll out the cycle of darkness and light, shaping day and night. You sweep away day and carry the world into nightfall, setting day apart from nighttime. You are God of all we can perceive and all that is beyond our perception. Living, eternal God, be our sovereign to the end of time.
Baruch
everlasting love you have loved the house of Israel. Throughout the Yom Kippur holiday, we will reflect on this relationship we have between ourselves and the Holy One. But we come to know God's love through God's great gift of Torah. Please join me in the English. Love beyond all space and time, your love enfolds your people Israel. We receive it in your teaching, your gift of Torah, sacred obligations, discipline, and law. So let us speak these teachings when we lie down and rise up, and find joy forever in your Torah and mitzvot. They are the very essence of our life, ours to ponder and study all our days. May we never lose or be unworthy of your love. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu Yisrael.
Amen.
For you are blessed, the one who loves your people Israel.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu Yisrael.
Amen. The Shema is Judaism's most famous declaration. It's not a prayer, one's not making a request. It's a statement of faith. Its opening verse, Hear, O Israel, God is our God, God is one. As we declare our faith, please rise, page 28. Page 30.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מרותך וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם בלבבך ודיברת בם בשבתך ובביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך ושרתם לילות והיו לתורות בעיניך וטפתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו עשיתם כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם.
We continue on page 38. Truth and faith, these are fundamental to our existence. God alone is their source, and we are Israel, a people of God. Our sovereign saves us from tyranny, redeems us from its violence through countless wonders, from its brutality through great feats beyond measure. We are Israel, a people of God, the giver of life, who would not let our feet give way, the maker of miracles for us against Pharaoh, of signs and portents in the land of Egypt, the one who brought our people Israel from its midst to enduring freedom. Page 40. Witnesses to this heroic might, the people thanked and praised God by name, freely accepting the reign of heaven. Then Moses and Miriam and all Israel sang to you this song of utter joy. Page 42, our beautiful, peaceful nighttime prayer. Gemar Chatima Tova, you can't say it enough. Have any of you taken a cruise? No? Some of you? My husband Jerry and I haven't been on one since before the pandemic, but we used to enjoy them. Because Jerry is an amateur magician, whenever we went on cruises, we always made sure we attended the magic shows. And afterwards, Jerry would always wait and go and chat up the magicians. And one of the magicians told us this story. Once there was a magician who had been working cruise ships for a long time, And because there was a new set of passengers each week, the magician performed the same tricks over and over again. Now, the captain's pet parrot came to all the magic shows and began to understand how each of the magic tricks worked. I've watched Jerry's tricks dozens, more than dozens of times, and I don't know how he does it, but the pet parrot figured it out. Once the parrot understood, he began to shout during the show, "Look, he's hiding the rabbit under the table," or, "Hey, why are all the cards the ace of spades?" Every performance, the parrot ruined the show. The magician was exasperated, but couldn't do anything. After all, it was the captain's parrot. One night, the ship hit an iceberg and sank. The magician found himself stranded on the iceberg, along with the parrot. They stared at each other with hatred, but neither uttered a word. This went on for days. Finally, on the fourth day, the parrot couldn't hold back any longer. "Okay, I give up. What did you do with the ship?" Jerry and I have been on 3 cruises to Alaska. During those cruises, I would look out from our ship's balcony at the magnificence of the ocean, the snow-capped mountains, the glaciers. Have any of you done that particular cruise? Breathtaking. Each time, I was reminded of the poem written in the 1940s by Hanna Senish. Hanna Senish was a Hungarian Jew living in Palestine, now Israel, who was trained by the British Army to paratroop into Yugoslavia during the Holocaust. Her mission was to help save the Jews of Hungary who were about to be deported to the German death camp at Auschwitz. In March 1944, she and 2 colleagues parachuted into Yugoslavia. She was arrested at the Hungarian border, imprisoned and tortured, but she refused to reveal details of her mission. She's considered a national hero. She was eventually tried and executed by a firing squad. In Israel, there are streets named for her. Her poetry is widely known. One of her most lasting poems, which I suspect most of you have heard and sung, is Eli, Eli, Shelo Yigamer La'olam. My God, who will never let these things end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayers of our heart. In Senish's world, our God who created this world will answer our prayers and never let these things end. But Alan Weissman might disagree with Senish. Weissman wrote a book called The World Without Us. Weissman, a journalist, invited the reader to imagine a world in which humans just disappeared. It didn't matter why, for the purpose of this book. It only mattered that one day, in the not-too-distant future, humans would no longer exist anywhere on our planet. How long, Weissman asked, would it take for Earth to repair itself from the damage we inflicted on it? What would this world look like after years had passed without humans? In Weissman's imagination, based on scientific data collected from experts around the world in every field, he interviewed engineers, zoologists, religious leaders, paleontologists, and more. The asphalt jungles that all cities that we call our cities would, in a short amount of time, crumble and give way to real jungles. Weissman describes in detail the Earth's tremendous capacity for self-healing. Weissman is saying that if, God forbid, we continue to wreak such havoc on this world so that it can no longer sustain humanity because we polluted it, carelessly trashed it, filled our rivers, streams, and oceans with toxic waste, and added our greenhouse gases, after we've done all of these things and made the planet no longer hospitable for humans, the world will go on without us. We got a taste of that during the worst of COVID. Because most people stayed home, the air cleared. Because cars, cruise ships, airplanes, and industry weren't polluting it. Plants and animals that had been snuffed out by modern production started to return. Maybe Weissman is onto something. Do you know there's an organization that is dedicated to the eventual elimination of humanity? It's called the Voluntary Human Extinction Movement. This organization's goal is to convince people to no longer reproduce, saying that we humans are the alien invaders. Viruses don't work, and neither does war. The only thing that will save the planet, according to this group and some environmentalists, is for all of us to agree to stop procreating. If there were no more babies, all living children would become more valuable, and we would treat them with love and care. In short order, there would be no more juvenile delinquency. The last humans would enjoy their final sunsets peacefully, knowing that they have returned the planet to the Garden of Eden as it began. Although I certainly disagree with the solution, imagining the world without us is definitely provocative and causes us to wonder, why were humans created in the first place? We should be living in an orderly world. Looking at the seemingly miraculous way that plants and animals, life balance each other, I'm certain that God created humanity with a specific purpose in mind. In the beginning of Torah, Bereshit, God makes it clear that we are part of creation. The language of Torah implies that human beings are in some way the special focus of the entire process of creation. But we must not forget that we share this world with almost 7 billion other humans and countless other species of plants and animals. On the 6th day of creation, after God created the human, the Torah records that God saw everything that God had made, that he made Tov Ma'od, and behold, it was very good. God saw the completeness, the harmony that united everything God had created. Part of this balance lies in the statement in Bereshit. When God decides to create humans, God says, they shall rule over the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, the cattle, the whole earth, and all the creeping things that creep on earth. A few minutes later, a few sentences later in Torah, God continues telling the male and the female to fill the earth and to rule it. Some translators substitute to have dominion in place of to rule. This is not a subtle difference. It represents a potent mindset about our place on the planet. The definition of dominion is to have complete and absolute ownership, to have supreme authority, to have sovereignty. Its synonym is power. Now we know this is not God's intention when God instructed the humans to rule the land. Never does God give over God's supreme authority. Never. To rule has a different tone to it. Its synonyms are to control, to direct, to administer, command, govern, manage. This places an emphasis on planned and orderly procedures. It implies exercising guidance or direction. To rule covers with it a responsibility to be stewards, to manage God's property well. When God created this world, God arranged it so that plants and animals and humans have our particular roles to play on the planet, and each of these roles is irreplaceable and fundamental. When God told the humans to rule the earth, God gave us a mandate to protect it, to sustain it. We have privileges as humans, and with those privileges come responsibilities, come awesome obligations. We cannot shirk our obligations to the environment, to the balance of nature, or to a basic humane moral code. This year, we have seen books and documentaries and conferences, all with the same message, rescuing our planet, especially warning us about climate change. with the extreme heat, hurricanes and tropical storms heading where they don't belong. I mean, Southern California, a hurricane, and other examples of severe and unusual weather, there's a growing awareness that we need to return to the first job humans ever had, our job in the Garden of Eden, to rule the earth. I am convinced that human nature will overcome our destructive urges, that we will come to our senses in time, that our love for the planet and our commitment to our future great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren and for all of God's creations will prevail over our love of plastic, our gluttony and greed, our self-importance. Our return to prioritizing the earth's well-being will occur when we become more conscious of the miracle of it all, the wonder of it all, when we cease taking it for granted and recognize that its continuation depends in many ways on our actions in the next few years. Rabbi Arthur Green teaches that the essence of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur is a return to wholeness, a return to a harmonious balance in our relationship with our children, with our parents, with our spouses, with God, and yes, with our environment. It is only through our active participation that each of these relationships can be restored, that we can find our way back to completeness. The restoration to wholeness is not achieved through prayer alone. We restore the world only through our doing. Everything must be directed to the realm of action, including prayer. This will remind us of the reasons why we pray. We pray to connect with what is timeless. We pray to remind ourselves that we are part of something important. Prayer causes us to stop and to wonder. If you look for it, you may find that there is a voice for you among the blessings, a voice that authenticates your emotions, your wonder. We acknowledge there are risks in prayer. You can feel foolish or hypocritical or worse, empty. Prayer is a conversation in which there's no certainty of a response unless that response is your own. Unless that response is you being inspired to elevate yourself to a righteous calling. Rabbi Chaim Stern taught that in Psalm 109 we read, I am prayer. He noted that there are 3 rungs on the prayer ladder. The third best is to talk about prayer. The second best is to pray. But best of all is to be prayer. What does this mean? It means we are all called to do, to be prayer. My friends, this is the message that I believe God would say to us if we would only open our hearts to listen and to hear. On this Yom Kippur, I call you to search for the Garden of Eden. Find the garden within yourself. Recreate paradise in your relationships. Restore harmony in your world. If we were given the Garden of Eden, which was ideal and perfect, it's up to us to recreate it and maintain it. But first we must recognize, both as a society and individually, how we are like the snake in the garden, which takes us away from that perfection. What can each of us do to return our world to the way God intended? How can you restore the balance within yourself, with your family, your loved ones, and your neighbors, between you and nature? How can you recognize the reciprocity of your relationship with all creatures and plant life on this earth and elevate all this to a higher priority, a higher purpose in your life? And this restoration must be extended to all aspects of our life that is out of balance. We need to repair our relationships and ourselves as we strive to repair the planet. Yom Kippur presents us with opportunities to change. You can be the change that is necessary to repair the world. Ask yourself, why not me? Ask yourself, why not now? And then you can be prayer. Remember the story of the old woman who walked the beach at dawn and noticed a young man ahead of her picking up starfish and flinging them into the sea? Finally catching up with the boy, the old woman asked him why he was doing that. The answer was that the stranded starfish would die if left until the morning sun. But the beach goes on for miles, and there are millions of starfish, countered the woman. How can your effort make any difference? The boy looked at the starfish in his hand and then threw it safely in the waves. It makes a difference to that one. That is being prayer. May God open your eyes to the marvels that surround us. May you experience the miracles of the world you witness, and may you always be appreciative of all that God has made. Gemar Chatima Tova, may you be sealed in the book of life.
Amen.
Amen.
We turn now to page 45 for the Reader's Kaddish. We now enter the tefillah, the prayer. So perhaps through meditating throughout this prayer on this Yom Kippur, we can be inspired to ways that we can become prayer. Please rise and turn to page 46.
Let my mouth may declare your praise.
החיים ברחמים ונאמנתה, להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני בחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, קדושים בכל יום יחלו בסלם.
We turn to page 63. I read the second paragraph. Accept the words we set before you, awkward and imperfect as they are, our hesitant questions, our corrosive doubts. Accept, too, our silences, our thoughts that rise in the stillness, our faith that coheres for a fragile instant, then dissipates like smoke above the altar. Page 64. Zochrenu Adonai Eloheinu, bo l'tova.
Amen.
Ufkidenu, bo l'vracha.
Amen.
V'hoshienu, bo l'chaim.
Amen.
Eternal our God, remember us.
Amen.
Be mindful of us.
Amen.
And redeem us for a life of goodness and blessings.
Amen.
Page 71. Please join me. The second reading. On this night of atonement, grant us, God, a sense of your presence as we call upon your name. Speak your hopeful message to each human heart and answer the worthy petitions of each faithful soul. Purify and strengthen our noble strivings and cleanse us of all our unworthy desires. Join us together in fellowship and in love, and grant us the joy which comes from the reaching of our lives. Help us to be loyal to the heritage we share. Draw us near to Torah in wisdom and faith. Strengthen our devotion to our people everywhere. Keep alive our faith in righteousness and truth. Bless us with hopes to uplift our daily lives, and keep steadfast our courage and our resolve in all lives. On this night of atonement, help us, God, to be worthy of your presence as we call upon your name. Page 72, etc. We continue with our private prayers, page 74 to page 81. Prayers on the page or the words in your heart. You may stand or sit, whatever is more comfortable for you. Page 78. We now offer our prayers for healing. Excuse me. The words to the beautiful melody we will be using tonight, the words are in your program booklets. Are there names that any of you would like to add so that all of us collectively can be praying for their well-being? If you want to stand or raise your hands, have them speak.
Irene Goldstein. Amy Edinger.
Betty Hodge and Marge Gisberg and Tiffany Marie.
And Louis Gold.
Judy, Joyce Gordon, Juan Daniel,
Carl Wolf, Dolores Rosa. Joe Judy.
And I add to those names Rich Freed, Ronnie David, Michael O'Shan, Rabbi Stephen Robbins, Rabbi Michael Middleman, Cantor, Jessica Lynch.
Please join us in Misha Beirach in your program. Lisa Beth Kaplan, Misha Beirach.
We now enter that part of the service that perhaps is your reason for being here tonight, our confessions. A man took his old car to a dealer and asked her to sell it for him. When the dealer asked how many miles were on it, the man replied, "It's got 230,000 miles." The salesperson replied, "This is illegal advice, my friend, but it will never sell unless you turn back the mileage." The man left. When the car salesperson had not heard from the man for several weeks, she called him. "I thought you were going to sell that old car." "I don't have to anymore," he answered brightly. "It's only got 77,000 miles on it now. Why should I sell it?" The story goes straight to a spiritual truth. The old car still has a sick engine, bad rings, and a transmission that slipped. Turning back the odometer does nothing to change any of that. Too many people today are only fooling ourselves if we think we're pleasing God just by changing our external behavior. Just coming to the temple on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, mouthing the prayers, standing and sitting on command, will not repent for sin. Only genuine remorse, prayer, and charity will avoid the severity of the decree. Please rise, page 82. Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence, and when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong. wronged you openly and secretly, and harm we have caused in your world by losing self-control. The ways we have wronged you through sexual immorality, and harm we have caused in your world through consumption of food and drink. The ways we have wronged you by giving in to our hostile impulses, and harm we have caused in your world through greed and exploitation. The ways we have wronged you through cynicism and scorn, and harm we have caused in your world through arrogant behavior. The ways we have wronged you by hating without cause, and harm we have caused in your world through offensive speech. The ways we have wronged you with slanderous tongue, and harm we have caused in your world through selfish spirit. For all of these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to your throne. Eloquently describing how deeply we rely on God to help us come close to repentance. We implore God, listen to our pleas, do not cast us away. It's an intense appeal to God. We cry to God together in a collective voice, in our communal voice. Hear us, God, listen to us. Recognize our voices, the voices of your children. Let us read the bottom of page 98. Hear our voice, Adonai our God. Show us compassion. Accept our prayer, love and goodwill. Take us back, Adonai. Let us come back to you. Renew our days as in the past. Hear our words, Adonai. Understand our unspoken thoughts. May the speech of our mouth and our hearts be acceptable to you, Adonai, our rock and our redeemer. Do not cast us away from your presence or cut us off from your Holy Spirit. Do not cast us away when we are old as our strength diminishes. Do not forsake us. Do not forsake us, Adonai. Be not far from us, God. With hope, Adonai, we await you. Surely you, Adonai, you will answer.
Thank you.
renew our plea to God, our God and God of our fathers, God of our mothers. Do not abandon us, leaving us in shame. Do not dissolve the covenant you have made with us. Rather, draw us near to your teaching. Show us your ways and teach us how to live. Let us be open to your love, ready to revere your very being. Cut away the hardness of our hearts, so that we may turn to you with all our heart's devotion, truly repentant. For the sake of your great name, pardon our failures, forgive our moral weakness, as in the holy words of your psalmist, Adonai befits your name, forgive my sin, no matter how great. Page 106. This Ki Anu Amecha, Father, Mother, Shepherd, Creator, Companion, Sovereign, these evocative words encourage us to contemplate aspects of our relationship with God. We turn now to page 114 for the Avinu Malkeinu prayers. The ark will be opened, and I ask you to please rise.
And I invite Carol and Jeffrey Winter to open the ark for Avinu Malkeinu.
We read together, Avinu Malkeinu, Almighty and merciful, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and on our families. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror. Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of life to live. Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us your goodness. Avinu Malkeinu, let our hands overflow with your blessings. Avinu Malkeinu, let our eyes behold the dawn of redemption. Avinu Malkeinu, we pray, do not turn us away from you with nothing. Avinu Malkeinu, welcome our prayer with love, accept and embrace it. Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name. Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake and not for ours. Avinu Malkeinu, you alone are sovereign. Avinu Malkeinu, let the gates of heaven be open to our prayer. Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice, treat us with tender compassion. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice. Now, Lashevet, you may be seated.
And now we invite Joseph Chudy, our president, to address the congregation.
Good evening, and most importantly, Gemar Tov, a good seal, and good Yontif on our eve of the Day of Atonement. As we have begun our new year, 5784, I ask, who are we? You might think we are simply Temple Bethel, but there are indeed many Temple Bethel congregations in these United States of America. We are also known as Temple Bethel Salinas. However, our legal name is the First Hebrew Congregation and Community Center of Salinas. Now that's a mouthful, but it is truly reflective of who we are, or at least who we strive to be. Most of us that are here tonight are Jews, as are many of our congregation, but not all. We indeed welcome all who wish to worship with us to do so. Yes, we are a Jewish congregation, and of course, we are in Salinas, California. But are we also a community center of Salinas? Speaking to longtime members, we certainly once were. At that time, many religious, cultural, educational, and social events were held here in these walls. Back then, Temple Bethel was indeed the center of community life for its members and our Jewish community at large. Can we be the Jewish community center of Salinas once again? Your board of directors is striving to do so. We are planning events that will bring our greater Salinas Jewish community together. Some of these events will be religiously and culturally oriented. Others will be of a social nature, including discussion groups on various topics. Of course, some will be of a fundraising nature and often with a Jewish connection. These varied activities will be reaching out to not only the Jewish community of Salinas, our greater Monterey County, and the Monterey Peninsula, but also to those of other faiths and beliefs. As we embrace such an ecumenical approach to educational, social outreach, and participation, we believe we will become stronger, more diverse, and hopefully see both our member and participant numbers grow. All we need is for you to participate. Encourage others to do so, and spread the word of who we are and what we offer. We are honored to welcome Rabbi Israel to lead our Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur services once again. Throughout the year, we also enjoy our cantor as our active spiritual leader. Our administrative coordinator fulfills many roles to keep communication flowing. We have an active board of directors, 11 serve on the board as voting members and 2 as ex officio participants. 17 other members of our congregation also participate in our various committees, some taking on more than one role. That brings us to at least 30 members taking on leadership, planning, and actively carrying out the business of our temple. Thankfully, many others are participating in our events and our ritual services. Although we are considered a small congregation, we have a large proportion of active participants. Why are so many of our members involved? Because we believe in Temple Bethel and want to see it not only survive, but flourish in our greater Salinas community. As our mission statement indeed states, we are a Reformed congregation steeped in tradition, but contemporary in its practice. We strive to be a compassionate and inclusive community that makes Judaism relevant, meaningful, and joyful. We refer to ourselves as the Temple Bethel family because we are just that, a small, caring community with a warm heart. Welcome to your first Hebrew Congregation and Community Center of Salinas. also known affectionately as Temple Bethel. Thank you.
We are entering the concluding prayers of this evening. We open the ark and turn to page 116 for Alleluia.
Phil and Becky, would you open the ark for us, please?
Please, guys. Page 116 and then page 118.
Aleinu l'shavei Adonai, l'tekila yotzer breshit, shelo esanu goyim haratzot, velo osamaru kamishpatot adama, shelo sam malkeinu kadem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu koraim, u'mishtacharim.
Please be seated. Turn to page 121. Our thoughts turn to loved ones whom death has taken from us in recent days, and those who died at this season in years past. Our hearts open as well to the wider circles of loss in our community and wherever grief touches the human family. Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be a blessing in this new year and always. Return to page 122 if you are in mourning, observing the yahrzeit, or if it is your custom to rise, please do so. Yitgadal v'yitgadal shanei rabah, v'yamad divrach yirtei v'yamlech malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayedecho beit Yisrael, v'agala b'zman karib v'mru amen, yehei shanei rabah mevarach v'yolam l'mei olam. Barach v'yishtabach v'yitahar v'yitroman v'yitaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalem v'yitalach shnei d'kusha v'richu, la'ela u'ela mikol birchata v'shvishata, v'shvachata v'nechemata v'amiran v'yamah v'yamru amen, yehei shlam v'rabba mishnaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom v'rabba, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael, v'yakol Yisrael v'yamru amen. May the source of peace bestow peace on all who mourn, and may we be a source of comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say, Amen. You may be seated. Page 124, Psalm 27. God is my light and my refuge secure. Whom shall I fear? God is the stronghold of my life. Of whom should I be afraid? Just one thing I've asked of God, only this do I seek, to dwell in God's house all the days of my life, to behold divine sweetness and beauty, and to gaze in delight at God's temple. We turn now to page 126 melody, the last stanzas of Adonai.
Beyado al ki ruhi.
Our God and God of our ancestors, eternal God of all generations, may your presence in our lives this new year renew our spirits and renew our strength. May it be a good year. May it be a sweet year. L'shana tova tikatevu v'mar chatima tova.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Zone call.
Very nice. Very. Absolutely.
How was your weekend? Do you have a good time?
You're making so beautifully fabulous. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah.
Community center. That was what I did. Rebecca, you did beautiful. And it's, what's good. Community center idea. I didn't tell you about this.
Yeah.
Like, just, oh my God. So anyway, help with that. Yes, you need to do it. See you tomorrow.